Hey, good morning, Future Home Realty agents. Hey, this is Bob McDougall. Just wanted to get with you briefly. It appears that the Florida Realtors has put out a new document, and it's called the Coronavirus Extension Addendum, basically. And I need to go over it with you. You need to understand what this says, what it means, and then I also want to cover some other things that are out there and make sure you understand that we are not qualified to give an opinion on cancellation of contracts, of whether or not a party can get out of a contract, and so on and so forth. So I'm going to start with the fact, I'm going to pull up the coronavirus. It's called COVID-1. If you see this, it's out there. It is Informed Simplicity. I'm sure Transaction Desk as well. I've highlighted a couple things. First of all, let me point out, and we can look at this later, that this extension addendum to the contract is already in place. There's an EA3, that is the extension addendum to contract that the Florida Realtors recommends and uses. And it covers different things saying, hey, look, we're going to extend the closing date, the financing period, the inspection period, the curative period for title, the feasibility study, that's more on vacant land, just so you're aware. The due diligence period, that would be something similar to that, or on commercial property. And then homeowners or condo association approval, all those different things. Now realize, I want you to understand, this is not to be used when you're writing a contract. This is when you have something already under contract. All right, it's already under contract and you're up against a deadline, and one or either or both of the parties decide that they both would like to extend. It has to be agreed upon by all parties. This is not a panacea to protect you on the front side in writing this. This is to say, right, because we are not going to allow you to put in indefinite periods here, like, hey, if this happens, then the closing date or the financing period will be extended to be determined, right? This is when you've got something under contract, all parties are a little nervous or something. You can't find a title company who's going to do a virtual closing for you, which those are available. Then for some reason you need to delay the closing and both parties agree, then this is what you use. Now, here's the difference between the old addendum, the extension addendum, EA3, and this COVID-1. COVID-1 has this reference at the top talking about that the coronavirus is maybe causing delays and so on and so forth, right? And then more importantly at the bottom, right? This is unique. And you need to understand this. I would just point this out to your clients. They need to understand, because what this says, let's read it carefully. All other non-conflicting terms of the contract remain in full force and effect, except, big except, pay attention to excepts, if buyer has obtained approval for the loan, which in the normal contract means that the financing contingency goes away. Once the buyer has obtained approval and delivered notice of that to the other side, the financing contingency goes away. And so let's say that that's occurred, and either the terms, conditions of the loan approval expire, or the lender refuses to fund the loan due to COVID restrictions. So what they're saying is, even though we had approval, if now the lender won't lend and or the approval expires before we can get this closed, then the buyer may cancel this contract provided written notice to seller the earlier of the closing date or within 2 days of expiration notice of refusal, right? So once the bank comes back and says, by the way, we're not going to close any loans for the next 30 days or something like that. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I just want you to be aware. I don't want you guys just willy-nilly out there having your clients sign this, because quite frankly, the seller is giving away some rights here, just so you're aware. If the buyer's already been approved, then the buyer's been approved. And I would highly encourage any seller to think long and hard about signing this. And I don't want you to give any opinion on it, right? You need to refer them to an attorney and their own legal counsel as to whether or not they should do this, because the seller is basically saying, yeah, buyer, you can cancel and receive your deposit, and we're not going to be able to go after you. That may be what the seller wants. That might be the legitimate thing to do, but there is no case law proven in how this should be handled right now. There is no, despite many rumors out there, hard, fast rules and laws set that says COVID falls under force majeure, because I'm not an attorney and neither are you. All right. So you need to make sure that your clients understand that. That being said, there are other things being floated out there that title companies are floating, and everybody else saying, hey, you should include this in your contracts. Well, they don't represent you, and they don't represent your client, right? Things like automatic extensions in place due to this. At the time of offer, saying, hey, look, if this goes, or all sorts of things that attorneys have written, right? But just because an attorney wrote it doesn't mean it's enforceable. Attorneys will say, oh, I'll defend you in case you use this. Yeah, but you understand that when we have a lawsuit, one party wins and one party loses, and both are represented by attorneys. So attorneys lose, all right? So because of that, right, there's other things out there. My compliance team has been instructed that if you attempt to use any type of verbiage that is non-standard, i.e., added on into additional terms that tries to give automatic extensions, or you're trying to write up your own thing, or something you cut and pasted from some Google search you did, we will not allow it, and we're going to require that you utilize by the way, here's the other extension. You'll see this is the regular extension, not the COVID. So those of you, Florida Realtors did a good job. They got this out. Don't get me wrong. But all they did is add a couple paragraphs to the already existing addendum. I want to show you in our forms, when I go to Future Home Realty forms, if you try and add any creative verbiage that you've seen online or someone has suggested, then we are going to require, so I want you to be prepared for it, all right, for you to use FHR, I'm going to find it here. These are in Form Simplicity is where I am now. So our legal advice acknowledgement. You pull this up, all right, and you're going to say, I, because this is the buyer, have requested that, and they'll say it was me, Bob McDougall, an agent associated with Future Home Realty, provide assistance in my efforts to purchase the property located at blank. Seller or seller's agent has prepared the following documents. Could be you, all right, I guess in this case, but we're going to require, and has provided the following documents for my review and consideration. And here you would write additional COVID verbiage in paragraph 20 or wherever it is. FAR bar contract, all right, whatever you're going to put in there, right? So you're going to do that, and we're going to say that they have had, we cannot give them legal advice on this. We're encouraging them to seek the opinion of legal counsel, or they say that they are aware that they are able, but they're going to choose to do it anyway, and they can't seek opinion of legal counsel and are currently undecided. Regardless, I confirm that agents may be fully aware of my rights to obtain the opinion. Because we cannot start to try and guess how people are going to find on these cases. So I just want to make sure you're clear that this is the legal notice. By the way, this should be being used, all right, this legal acknowledgement should be being used whenever we have a non-standard contract, i.e. a bank foreclosure, i.e. new construction that is required, all right? But as far as, let's go back to our form, this COVID-1, all right? I want you to be very careful to understand that this is only to be used in an addendum when you already have something under contract, all right? They think it's implied here. I have too many agents to know nothing's implied, right? That you guys are going to misinterpret this. And then also that even though we're extending different things and all parties agree to extend, all right, if we extend the closing date and then the buyer already has approval and you say, well, I didn't extend the approval, the loan approval date, but if later on you extended only the closing date, and then the buyer comes back and says, hey, my lender's not going to refuse us the loan due to COVID, which again, everything's going to be due to COVID right now. They're going to say that. Then the buyer's going to be able to get out where normally they would not have automatically been able to get out. So I just want to give you a quick word of warning and be very careful. Do not give legal advice on this. Encourage them to seek the counsel of counsel to determine whether or not it'd be a good idea, specifically sellers who are giving up rights in this paragraph. All right, as always, if you have any questions, let me know during our virtual office hours. I'm sure we can discuss this if you guys want to call in and have specific questions. Thanks, guys. Stay safe. Have a great day. Keep it up. Telling you, we're not seeing a drop in business here at Future Home. Just as many closings. I did my year-over-year analysis. We have more closings this March than we did last March. And so I continue to hear stories. New contracts are still pouring in. So stay safe as you need to, but hang in there and keep it safe. All right. Thanks, guys.